It is 10:12 a.m. on November 12, as a U.S. B-2 Spirit flies over Venezuelan waters.
Suddenly, the calm is shattered when a sharp, piercing alarm screams through the high-tech cockpit. The screen flashes a terrifying message: Fire Control Radar Lock. They know a weapon is targeting them.
At the same time, in a Venezuelan air defense trailer, the B-2's faint radar echo suddenly vanishes. The room goes silent, except for the long, rising beep of the tracking system struggling to hold.
The commander's hand is already tightening around the radio. For one full second, everything hangs in suspense.
This is not a simple patrol. The waters north of Venezuela are one of the most watched routes.
Cargo ships, massive oil tankers, and military aircraft all move through this vital corridor day and night. For the US, this B-2 was flying a legal route in international airspace, which it had done.
This was a routine mission, something the United States Air Force had done many times here before.
But for Venezuela, which was conducting intense air defense drills, that same flight looked far more alarming.
This specific strip of sky is a high-pressure zone where every radar operator is told to stay.
Every pilot in the region also knows that one wrong signal can flip a routine flight.
To Washington, the flight was meant to show presence and to reassure all of its allies.
To Caracas, it was a reminder that a stealth aircraft could appear near their coastline without warning.
This existing tension makes even the most normal movements feel like very bold, aggressive steps.
In the trailer, foreign advisors were watching. The stress for the crew was more than just technical. Losing the B-2's weak radar echo, even for just a single moment, felt like a critical failure.
For the American bomber crew, the danger they were facing was immediate. This was not a misunderstanding.
This is a terrifying fact that every single trained military pilot in the world knows well.
A single radar tone at the wrong moment could trigger a chain reaction far beyond that.
Inside the B cockpit, the relentless warning tone sliced through the calm. Fire control lock.
His highly trained co-pilot reacted instantly, cycling through electronic countermeasures with quick, precise, and trained motions.
Far below, the air defense trailer's mood snapped from routine to panic. The operator lost the contact.
The commander stepped closer. Losing what looked like a U.S. stealth bomber felt like an immediate danger.
She ordered the fire control radar online. The operator hesitated for one moment, then activated the system.
The powerful system hummed, sending a narrow targeting upward. Inside the B-2,
The alarm tone inside the cockpit spiked to maximum danger.
Countermeasures! Go! Captain Reed yelled out.
Clouds of chaff burst from the bomber as the electronic warfare system filled the sky with interference. Inside the trailer, the radar picture dissolved into electronic clutter. Ghost returns flickered across the entire screen.
The operator tried to switch frequencies, but every single change just made the problem even worse.
They are jamming us, she said. To her, it meant a hostile aircraft was actively hiding.
But to the commander, it meant that a devastating military strike from the bomber could soon.
Reed banked the B-2 north, climbing fast to gain distance. The large aircraft shook from the move.
Venezuelan batteries, cease illumination. We are in international airspace.
He grabbed the radio. Only static answered.
Inside the trailer, their communications link to headquarters had also collapsed under the overwhelming electronic interference.
The commander stared at the silent radio.
There were no orders, no guidance, no voice from higher.
She was completely alone with a critical decision she was never supposed to have to make.
For a brief moment, both sides froze in a fragile pause. The B-2 climbed, the radar pushed.
The commander stepped forward, eyes fixed on the fading Echo. "Prepare for launch," she said firmly.
Preparen para lanzar.
And with that single command, the skies over the Caribbean tilted dangerously toward an unfolding disaster.
Was this a moment of necessary caution, or was it a deadly, irreversible escalation?
The moment the commander gave the order, the trailer snapped into motion. Outside, the missile canisters lifted.
Inside the B-2, the alarm chain becoming again more urgent.
Reed pulled the bomber into a careful climb.
Target! Unstable!
Unstable! The commander leaned over her shoulder, watching the ghost-like blip appear and then vanish from the screen. She did not see radar limits. She saw a stealth aircraft shifting into a dangerous attack mode.
Aumente la potencia!
Increase power, she ordered. The operator obeyed, and the fire control radar beams surged with new energy.
Inside the B-2 cockpit, the alarm tone sharpened instantly. "Hard illumination," Reed said. The threat was high.
On the hill, the missile system flashed a RE Eddy signal. All the tactical screens turned green.
Operators glanced at their commander, hoping she would wait. But the interference was total. No help.
She was alone with a decision no one wanted.
Track and hold, she said, her voice steady.
Mantener el blanco.
The system locked onto the B-2's last stable point. "They've locked us hard," Reed said quietly. His co-pilot simply nodded, bracing herself for the impact.
Final targeting update.
The critical twist in this story began quietly, hidden inside the electronic radar noise and the static.
The Venezuelan commander believed she had a clear, solid lock. But the Echo she was watching
was not a stable target. It was a distorted return created by the bomber's powerful jamming. This ghost was amplified by the heavy coastal humidity. The radar treated the reflection as completely solid.
The system treated it as real, even as the false target drifted farther away with every sweep. Inside the B-2, Captain Reed felt something shift. The warning tone stayed solid, but its rhythm changed.
The updates came slower, less sure, as if the radar on the ground was struggling.
"Lock is unstable."
His co-pilot reported. It was not safety, but it was the first sign of their countermeasures. On the hill, the commander saw the drifting Echo and assumed the B-2 was slipping away.
Determined not to lose it, she ordered, "Manual guidance update." The operator began typing in corrections.
Actualización manual.
Each input narrowed the missile's path around a target that was, in reality, only half real.
Reed pushed the B-2 into sharper climbs, firing more chaff, trying to break the radar picture.
In the trailer, the commander misread this as evasion. Stand by for launch.
Listos para lanzar. Her operators stared at the flickering return, unsure if they were seeing a threat or a trick.
But no one on either side realized the truth. Venezuela was preparing to fire at a ghost.
Fuego! The launch came with a sound no one would forget. A deep, rising roar shook the hill.
The first missile shot out, then another. 8 bright trails ripped into the sky at once. The missiles ripped into the sky, turning the quiet ridge into a wall of bright fire. Operators covered their ears as dust fell from the trailer ceiling. The commander did not move. High above, the B-2's cockpit exploded in a violent, pulsing tone.
Missile launch! His co-pilot shouted.
Reed pulled the B-2 into a steep climb, then snapped it hard left. The jet groaned.
He forced the aircraft into maneuvers it was never designed to perform at this high cruising altitude.
Chaff burst behind them, jamming every frequency. The first missile streaked upward, closing the distance in seconds. Reed dropped the B-2, then hauled it into a rising turn. The cockpit shook.
They're adjusting.
Reed pushed into another climb, his vision narrowing as the high G-forces pressed against his body.
They had trained for this exact scenario, but the reality of training never felt quite like this.
On the hill, operators watched the missiles, unaware they were locked onto a fading radar ghost. Everything on their screens looked clean. 8 perfect trajectories. The commander waited for the impact markers.
In the air, Reed shoved the B-2 into a brutal sideways slip. The first missile overshot.
It detonated high above their wing in a blinding burst of fire. The shockwave rattled the cockpit.
Close! The second missile, chasing the ghost, shot off into empty, open sky.
The third missile completely lost its lock and spiraled harmlessly away, vanishing behind a thick cloud bank. Reed fought the controls, diving, climbing, cutting east. Every move stole a few more precious seconds.
Every second meant another missile losing the false target. On the hill, S markers blinked.
Confusion spread. The commander leaned in, completely stunned. No hits, no confirmation, nothing.
In the B-2 cockpit, Reed leveled the aircraft. The alarms finally faded.
We're clear.
When the last missile faded, the sky turned quiet. Reed kept the bomber steady, flying north.
His co-pilot checked all systems, confirming that shrapnel damage on the wing had not spread.
Only then did the 2 pilots finally take a deep breath. They had escaped 8 live missiles.
But the immense weight of what had just happened stayed heavy. This was not a close call. It was a hostile act, a dangerous incident that could shake the entire geopolitical region.
Down on the hill near Portocabello, the air defense trailer sat in a new, tense silence. The operators stared at their blank screens, trying to understand how an entire salvo had hit nothing.
Suddenly, the radios crackled back to life, carrying the rising panic from headquarters. Questions came fast.
Who authorized the launch? Why was no confirmation received? What would the international response be?
In Washington, the alert climbed the chain of command in minutes. A stealth bomber was targeted.
Even though the B-2 survived, the message was clear. A dangerous red line had been crossed. Military planners reviewed every U.S. asset in the Caribbean. Diplomats prepared for the emergency calls.
In Caracas, shock spread through government ministries.
Senior officers demanded explanations for the massive...
Advisors warned that a U.S. retaliation was likely. The entire defense network shifted to high alert.
One decision, on one hill, had escaped the hands of the people who had made it.
Some feared a retaliatory strike. Others wondered if they had triggered the largest crisis in years. High above the Caribbean, the B-2 Spirit turned north, leaving the immediate danger far behind. And as the bomber disappeared, the ripples of that morning were already spreading far beyond the horizon.